Clipper Nation, it is a sad day. Maybe not today, but you know what day that was very sad. The Clippers are no longer playing, but I have to talk about that, what the Clippers are doing now about it, and what's next, and so much more. I'm Michael Matthew here with your favorite show, Full Clip, Clippers Unleashed. We got more for you, baby. Clipper Nation, thank you once again for joining us. Thank you for rocking with us this entire year. I hate that this has to be the final episode of the season, but we are here. Michael Matthew once again, Full Clip, Clippers Unleashed, and I'm with my guy, Beef. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man? All I can say is, although we come to the end of the road,
Man.
Still no championship. God damn.
Hey, it's a tough. We were very hopeful that they could slide over to this new arena, and bring a title to it, but it just didn't happen. They failed last Friday. They failed to the Dallas Mavericks in Dallas, 114, 101. They just came up short, man. They tried. They lose the series 4-2. But let's go through this entire series because we have to talk about it because we both came in. We both had the Clippers winning this series, you know.
Yes,
we came into the series like, all right, the Clippers are playing some better basketball to finish the year. Even without Kawhi Leonard, we're like, maybe he's going to come back and help the team. Let's see what's going to happen. They play game 1. They play lights out. They do a really good job. Game 2 was the game I really felt that they let get away, which could have changed everything. They lose that one by 3 points. And then, they lose game 3 where they just didn't come out and play good offense. They get a nice win on a Sunday primetime TV with PG and James taking over. And then after that, they just lost all their juice. Game 5, we were there in the building. They get blown out at home. And then last Friday, they lose. Yeah. What do you think went wrong in this series, and why are the Clippers not playing playoff basketball today?
And what went wrong? What could went wrong? All demons was on the floor in regards to the Clippers. Again, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of feel. But let's talk about these demons. I knew I was going to get a James Harden stinker, but I didn't know I was going to get 2 of them back to back. Even though we could talk about history between other teams and stuff like that, I didn't know I was going to get that type of performance. And then also Paul George. Yeah. I think Paul George has mentally checked out from the Clippers.
Wow.
In regards to how he's performing. You gave me a big performance, and then you was really stagnant and kind of stuck in regards to that. I want to say shout out to Terrence Mann, Zubac, Amir Coffey.
Yeah, those
guys' performance because being a young group that you necessarily still turn the corner and you still perform at a very, very high level. Going forward, it's just more of a what do we do now? Like people still need to be signed. We don't know who's going to return.
Yeah.
PG's up for contract. James Harden's up for contract. Yeah. Ty Lue's up for contract. So now we just really sitting here looking at this series like, is this what I'm going to expect going into the following season? It's a bunch of question marks.
And that's why, just to keep it, because we're gonna give you all that. We're going to talk about what we think that should happen for this Clipper team to take that step. But just looking at it, I took 2 major things from this, right? Mm-hmm. And we're going to start at the top. Paul George, James Harden. I think those 2 guys can no longer be franchise guys to lead your team. I think this series, we learned that. Like, they gave us a couple games, yeah, but to be a great player, to truly lead a team, you have to be able to do it for a series, and we learned that they just can't do it anymore. That's why I think you heard them talking so highly of Kawhi and the things that he can do when he's there and healthy, because I think they deep down inside knew, hey, without this guy, we can't do it same way that we expect everybody expect us to do in the playoffs.
You got to think it's a young man's game.
Yep.
The whole Clippers roster itself is 30+. And again, it's no excuses, but it's like if you're looking at the Mavs right now versus the Thunder.
Yeah.
The Thunder are literally picking them apart. and Chet is not even close to what Zubac is.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm really concerned that looking at the Clippers is like, when it comes to James Harden and PG, like you said, y'all can't take games over no more.
Yeah.
So now
not consistently.
You're at that crossroad. Like I'm throwing other players out there, like Carmelo Anthony was at the end of his crossroad. He can still get you buckets.
Yeah.
But he can't be that
take
guy
over games
anymore,
consistently.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
Allen Iverson, right? When he got to Denver, he wasn't like that no more, right? He wasn't AI when he was with the 76ers. It's so many players we could throw out on the floor. Shaquille O'Neal, when he started to get down to those years, it's like you're not that guy, which means you got to make room for the young guys.
There's something that they got to do, because with this series, it was kind of the offense really couldn't find its way. Mm-hmm. They couldn't do anything new, anything different. They started. So that's how I want to. Is it a player or is it coaching? Did Ty Lue do everything he do to get the best out of this team offensively, or is it just, man, we just didn't have the artillery to go and get this win?
You had the artillery. It falls onto the players to reinvent themselves as your career gets down the line. Right? The things that you were doing at the age of 25 is not what you're going to be doing at the age of 33, 34. Mm-hmm. Players have to reinvent themselves. They have to find a different way, right? PG explained it before. Like I could take over a game. I'm being aggressive. If aggressive is not your thing, you need to find sets that get you to your spot.
But is that on the players, or should Ty Lue realize, this one-on-one stuff isn't working?
Ty Lue did what he had to do. Ty Lue is a player's coach, right? He let the players, he gives the players the power to figure it out.
Okay.
Right? And if the player doesn't have enough common sense to figure it out, it's no need for you to be in the league no more, because it doesn't matter what team you go to, i.e. James Harden. If you can't figure out that I'm not that individual no more, play differently, it's going to hinder you. That's it. That's all you can really boil it down to. We can blame coaches all day. We just had the firing of Frank Vogel, Darvin Ham. We had the Griffin in the middle of the season.
Yeah,
all this. If you can't understand that it's you and not the coach, you're the problem, because the coach only can do so much.
No, and I'm always with that. Like, when people go out and give credit to all these coaches for different things, I'm like, at the end of the day, great players is who wins championships.
Prime example. Even though this is a Clippers show, I lay my hat on this team so much. San Antonio Spurs with George Popovich,
Greg
Popovich. I almost called him George because Paul George on my mind. Greg Popovich, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili, man. If you don't look at that team and literally say those players molded themselves every year to do something different. They had to do. When Timmy was on the decline, Tony Parker stepped up.
Yeah.
When Tony Parker was a little bit on the decline, Manu Ginobili took over, right? Yeah. And then when all three went on the decline, who stepped up and took over? Kawhi. So it's like during that time frame, it's a play. But again, George,
maybe the roster.
Greg. I keep saying George. Greg Popovich put players in positions to do what they do. We knew what Timmy was going to do, right? Get on the block, do your thing.
So it sounds like you're saying coaching, because we know that Popovich was known to getting the best out of whatever roster that he had. You give him a little talent, now they win championships. Now we came in, Paul George was an all-star this year. James Harden was like an 18-8 guy. You had Norman Powell, who disappointed this series. Like, he did not play like a guy who was trying to prove that I should have been the sixth man of the year. He did not have a good series. Russ, who we're going to talk more about future for him, he really showed that he couldn't really do something. And then he came out and he said the Instagram post where he's like, hey, I enjoyed my stay and things like that. And you don't know what he's going to be looking for, maybe a new role, or he want to stay in L.A., which I think. But, man, those guys didn't do enough. And Ty Lue, I feel, didn't do enough for all the praise that he gets for being a championship coach and things like that. And, yes, he's friendly. He's cool with the media. He's a player's coach. At the end of the day, Minnesota is out there coaching. Yes, their guys are playing, but they're coaching those guys to help win. OKC has coached some good basketball so far in the playoffs, where it's like Ty Lue, once the team got figured out, that was it.
I look at it like this. You can say they got figured out. They didn't get figured out. It's not hard to shut down when we're going to talk about more in deep into an ISO ball, right? It's not hard to shut down ISO
Hey,
ball.
that's how Dallas won.
No, I'm just saying it's not hard to shut it down.
Okay.
But in the scheme of things, you can say it's coaching, but it really comes to the player. Once you realize you're not him no more, you got to make an adjustment.
No, hey, players got to play, but coaches, you got to do your damn job too. So I'm pretty sure y'all got your opinions. You can always comment down below. We'll get back to you. But we got more. We got to talk about it. The Clippers are done. Season is complete. What is next for the Los Angeles Clippers? Me and Beeve got you covered when you come back after the break.
And these are the breaks.
These are the breaks.
You know what it is.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
Clipper Nation, we're back for Clippers Unleashed. Mike Kel Matthew here. My guy, B. We just talked about the series. Clippers went down 4-2 against the Dallas Mavericks prematurely. We didn't think it was going to happen, even though I kind of said it last week. I thought Game 6 was going to be it because, you know, you can't lose by 30 at home and expect to just catch fire and win on the road. But, man, before we take you all the way and give you our thoughts and opinions on what we think or feel the Clippers should do next, what's happening right now? This stuff is fresh. Like I said, you got the Instagram post from Russ. James Harden has talked and stuff after the season. And we got Podcast P, who was back at it. And it rubbed a lot of you out there, Clipper Nation, the wrong way. But we're here to talk about it, that and Lawrence Frank as well when he talked to the media. So I guess we got to start Podcast P because we've been saying it all season. Are we going to get Podcast P or are we going to get Paul George, the all-star player? And it looked like we got Podcast P. But what was your biggest takeaways from his podcast?
Accountability.
Okay.
Listen to Podcast P. I really didn't grasp accountability. Of course, he said a few things that he should have done better. But Paul George, if you can hear me, and I respect you highly, man, but as being the number 2 on the team, I expect way more from you. When stuff fell down, when Kawhi fell down, it's time for you to put on the cape and save the day, right? And just be that person you can be, right? We've seen it in the game where you drop 30, right? If you know a team is starting to do things and more blitz you and stuff like that, become a different type of leader, right? This is where I put it all on you. And I don't know if you felt disconnected due to the fact that Kawhi is always hurt and it always falls back on you, and you've been trying to get away from that, right? You talked about on the podcast how it was a lot of hero ball going on, a lot of ISO stuff, less hero ball, not so much ISO going on, and talking about youth.
Yeah.
PG, Kawhi, James Harden, y'all signed off on some of these deals. I know
you're not getting any younger.
The top part didn't just do it without the bottom part knowing.
Yeah.
Like something had to be ran through y'all wires to say, hey, we got a chance to get X, Y, and Z. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
You're trading your youth away to get older. It's plain and simple.
But I just think when it comes to Paul George, like you said, accountability. But he brought up Kobe, which, of course, I'm a Kobe guy. And he talks about the things he studies. And one of them he mentioned was mentality. We know the footwork and all that he was mentioning, but he mentioned mentality. I didn't get the sense of any type of Mamba mentality from him. The fact that you knew coming into the playoffs, no Kawhi Leonard, he's going to be hurt. At a certain point, once Kawhi went down and you had that month to play, he should have had a meeting with the team and said, hey, I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to carry us. If I have to come out and get 40, I'm going to try to do it. If I have to come out and get a triple-double, 18, 12, and 11 to help us win, I'm going to try to do it. I'm taking this upon myself that this is my team and we're going to try to find our way. He didn't have that mentality.
No.
It just seemed like he was going through the motions of playing, and he didn't have that look of – we didn't see it in the games that he was playing like other than game 4, I would say, which he went crazy in. He didn't have a game in that last series that showed you I am going to put this team on my back like – Anthony Edwards is doing in the playoffs, like Luka does.
I would say this, man, and you might call me crazy for saying this, right? Mama mentality ain't for everyone.
Facts.
And what Kobe had is not what everyone think that they got.
Yep.
And a lot of people say, oh, well, Mama mentality does that mean I'm going hard because of Kobe. The way Kobe lived and trained his life is different from how you doing it.
Yep.
I can tell you right now, I could put Kobe in the pressure cooker and put you in the pressure cooker, and I guarantee you Kobe will come out on top compared to you just off the simple DNA and mental mentality that y'all is not going to hold the same.
And I don't think.
Even the upbringing is not the same.
Yeah, I don't think in his prime or in a great place of his game trying to win championships that Kobe would have been doing a podcast. Like, he would have been like, man, all that can wait. I'm trying to win.
The stuff that some players is doing now don't even,
resonate
or lives in his lifestyle.
Yeah.
It took him forever to do a goddamn commercial.
Yeah.
But, tying it back to the Clippers, man, like, a lot of stuff is too cliche. Right? It's, we'll figure. No. Put people on notice, right?
Time is running out.
It's running out, and if you just look at certain things, right?
Yeah.
If the players you're with don't relate to how you are the type of leader, well, then maybe it's them or maybe it's you.
Yeah.
Right? And like I said, this always boils down to the players because at the end of the day, I can coach you night in and night out. But if you don't go out there and perform or, step up when you get punched in the mouth, that's not on coaching.
So that's why we have to talk about Lawrence Frank, who talked to the media, and he was talking kind of about the top guys and how he wants the team to look at. This is a big summer for him because he's going to, if he makes it,
he's getting fired.
If he makes it, it's going to be big.
No, he wants to run it back. That's what he said. He wants everyone back.
You can't
run it
that.
back, you're getting fired. If the Clippers don't get close, I'm so serious.
No, yeah.
If the Clippers don't get close to being a number 1 seed, at least next season, or making noise, not fighting for 4th. I mean, number 1 running and gunning, he is getting fired and then parts are getting moved.
Yeah.
I don't care. Things are the house got to start rumbling and shuffling.
That it might be too late for that,
Man.
but so we're going to see a lot about Lawrence Frank. Is he truly going to try to run it back, or do you do what I think that they should do, which we're going to talk about more when we go to the break? But James Harden has said, "Hey, I want to come back." Him and Russ is in the same boat to me. They both pretty much got messed. Like Russ was through Instagram, James was through an interview where he talked about like, man, who don't want to play in your city, especially when you're not on the Lakers? You don't have all that media pressure and the craziness that the Lakers have to deal with and continue to deal with, where you can come and play for your team. And I feel that both of these guys are kind of like, hey, we want to be back. I feel that, we want to play and probably retire here in L.A., but maybe that's not the best move for the team. But it's something that we have to figure out because, man, that's 2 big names. But are their games still where they need to be to help push this team over the top to finally win a championship? We'll have to see.
Got to wait and see. Because I'm going to tell you this. If James Harden keep doing them silly-ass plays, we're going to keep getting these silly-ass results. So.
Hey, silly games win, silly prizes. He been telling us all year. Have you not listened to us, Clipper Nation? Clippers, But hey, we got more for you. We gonna kind of give you what we gonna be Lawrence Frank, the GM, right now, this next segment, and tell you what we think the Clippers can do or should do next to help them get to that NBA championship. Here with Full Clip Clippers Unleashed. We'll talk to you more after the break.
And these are the breaks.
These are the breaks.
You know what it is.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
Yep. Also, we're back. Sorry about that. We're back. Breaks go by fast here, man. We all disappointed season's done because we got to move on with the stuff. But Full Clip Clippers Unleashed, Michael Matthew, my guy Beeve, of course. So now we got our GM caps on. I was looking through the roster to kind of see what could be done. Beeve, I'll start with you. What would you do going into next season to help get the Clippers over the top to be a true championship contender next season?
You have to find, first, athletic power forward.
Okay.
You can go with Kobe Brown and working him out to see how he feels fit in the first unit in regards to that, because he's a small type of forward, but he's athletic. You got a lot of young parts that you can pull from. You got Mosa. Brandon Boston is a free agent, but if I lose him in free agency, I definitely have Jordan Miller that I can roll out there to see what he can do. But I just gotta let the young bucks fly. Still got Kai Jones under contract, so I really gotta let these young bucks fly to see what I'm working with.
Yeah, and
to mesh with the starting unit, because you can have, like, for example, we know I'm gonna get out of Terrence Mann. We know what I'm gonna get out of Zubac, right? But starting to line up with Kawhi, PG, and James Harden, knowing how Kawhi record is, I got to find somebody else to pick up the slack when he's not there.
Yep.
Another type of 3-and-D type of wing, very athletic, very agile, to see what I can do. That's the part A of it. Part B, if PG walks in free agency, I got to move something around. I can't let you go for free. So what we could do is a sign and trade. I wouldn't take a first from you, but I'll take some future stuff from you, like some second rounders or a player here and there to pitch in something. Okay. But I can't let you walk for free 99.
No, yeah, and I'm with you on that. I think that the Clippers, they have to really look to get more athletic and get younger. That's why if I'm Lawrence Frank, I'm sitting back and I'm like, do we pay James Harden? Two guys, to be honest. I hate this because both my guys, they from the city, but it's Russ and Russ and James Harden that I would look at, because those are guys. I know Russ' contract isn't too big, but you need more youth, and bigger than that, you need more shooting to come off the bench.
Bones Highland right there.
So maybe that's like, all right, now Bones is going to take these minutes, but I think that you have to lean more into that. Then with James Harden, because he wants so much of a contract, maybe you say, hey, instead of trying to have a big three, let's just have our big two, which we know one of our guys don't be healthy. Let's get a lot of maybe 2 or 3 pieces that can fit into that contract amount that we can have. Maybe you have that one other guy that can give you a little bit of what James Harden can do as far as giving you 15, 16 points and can break out. Who that guy is, I don't know.
You can say money.
But I think that you have to try to get more shooting and more athleticism on this roster.
Mason Plumlee gone, Daniel Tice gone.
Yes.
That's automatically off my roster.
Yeah.
And if you really want to take a chance, there's a kid playing overseas right now that used to play for the Houston Rockets that has some trouble.
That'd be tough though.
But that's not tough.
Yeah.
It's not tough. Why?
It's a risk.
It's a risk. It's a high risk, high reward. You want to know why?
True.
You want to know why, as a GM, why I wouldn't make that deal? I don't have to sign him for much because the year that he's coming into it is a prove it year. Mm-hmm. And when people want to prove themselves, they're gonna really play hard. And I would actually put him in the starting lineup.
Yeah, that would be an interesting move because he is a guy that's out there. See if he's forgiven and he can come and he can be an 18-point. But see, that's a nice little piece if you can add that
in.
That's
a prove it piece. I'm telling you,
that's on a low contract.
Man,
that you can say, all right, we can let James walk. We got this guy. Now we can go and get some other veteran pieces that can come in and play. But at the end of the day, none of this really matters. It comes down to is Kawhi Leonard ever going to be healthy? And that's where you have to really sit back. Maybe you need to have talks and say maybe we try to find a way to trade Kawhi Leonard. It would suck if you trade him to a team like Philly and he somehow gets healthy. But you've seen a few of your last seasons where he is not ready to go, not ready to play because he's not healthy. I think you have to really look at. I know they want to go into this new building with these names, Kawhi, Paul George, Russ, and James Harden, but I just don't think it's enough to win. And LA only cares about winning.
The Clippers are trying to feed the fans. I'm going to be honest with you. The Clippers are trying to feed the fans of what the fans think they want, right? That's not what the fans want. If the Clippers spend more time just listening to their fans, the fans want excitement. They want a young, healthy team that's actually going to perform night in and night out. Straight dogs. If that has to come with us firing our scouting team and actually hiring a new scout team, actually scout talent, that would be good because it's too many times in the draft that we missed. We could have got Cam Whitmore, for God's sake. That could have been a dominant player off the bench, right? Sure, yeah. We could have picked up Jokic in the second round. He went second. I'm reaching here, but I'm just saying.
Everybody feel like that, B.
Everybody can, but just knowing how the Clippers stock is, right? We selecting Keon Johnson. We could definitely do other things like that, but at the end of the day, it's youth.
Athleticism, shooting. I think that should be the focus. That's the first 2 things on my board, athleticism and shooting. If you believe you're going with Kawhi as your top guy, I'm like, we got our top 2, with him and PG because I think you have to bring PG back. And say, these are our top 2. Now let's really look at the roster around because we don't want to pay a 6-figure deal to James Harden. You know what I'm saying? Not even 9-figure deal, which will be crazy. We don't want to pay 9-figure deal to James Harden. We want to build a team with depth, and then we have our 2 guys that are – you want to look at OKC. They got so much depth. That, of course, Shea is the best guy because most teams are going to have that. But all of the teams that are really great, depth. Boston, depth. Minnesota, depth. OKC has depth. Even the Knicks has depth of players, even when they're out Julius Randle. So I think that if you have to sacrifice some of these vets to make sure you have more athleticism, shooting, and that depth, that you have to do it because it looked like they had it, but that depth that they had was a little older with a guy like Russ. Norman Powell, who's not the most athletic, I think, and things like that.
Call me crazy, and I'm just going to throw this on the floor. If a player's going to get moved, it's going to be Norman Powell.
But I don't think you can get enough back to really build something.
It doesn't matter. You get draft stock. The Clippers has little to no draft stock.
You're trying to win a championship.
But I need future capital. I need future capital because the thing is that when you keep trading pieces around, you lose trade draft capital that can be beneficial to somebody. You got to remember though, with that OKC trade, a lot of people keep missing. Some of those are pick swaps. So, So the Clippers can still draft in certain rounds. Yeah. It's pick swaps. So if the Clippers finish bad, OKC can take the higher seed and all that. So those pick swaps are still on the floor. So it's not too bad.
So Clipper Nation, we giving you our thoughts on different things that could happen or should happen. You guys can always let us know down below in the comments. But before we get out of here, we have to show love. Because shout out to the Clippers for taking care of us this year. Because for those of you who don't know, we weren't just in studio talking Clippers. We were in the building covering the team, being there in the press conference room, talking to the players, talking to the coaches, going to the visiting team's locker room, and doing all of this. They opened the doors for Infanity TV to make sure that we gave you guys the top-notch content that you want when it comes to your Clippers. So we got to show appreciation to that. Beef, you got any words?
Man, I just want to take a big shout-out to the Clippers organization for giving us the opportunity, giving us that step in the door just to show that we can prove ourselves and we belong in that room with other reporters. Tomar, Justin, Law, FB, Kelly, a lot of reporters in there that I met that helped me sharpen my tools, fine-tuning myself in regards to that, asking questions. And also, too, I want to give a big shout-out to just for the employees in the building, Staples, once you've seen us once, you've seen us again, and you let us do our thing and rock while we was in the building. And also just shout-out to the staff for the Clippers team as well, marketing and media, opening the doors for let's do what we got to do to highlight our favorite team.
Yeah, so, man, Clippers season is done. It's finished, but don't worry. You're going to see our faces again. We'll be back, Clipper Nation, to talk some Clippers as we get closer and closer to next season. But, hey, go out there and enjoy you some great playoff basketball that's going on. And, damn it, I got to say it. Make sure y'all get ready for the WNBA season. There's going to be some great basketball. Check me out, of course, Sparks Weekly, as the season starts next week, man. Things are moving so fast. But Clipper Nation is going to be all right, hopefully. And we'll see you guys next season.
And if I forgot you, shout you out. I love you. Let's go.